welcome back guys. So today we're changing the oil in a 2017 Honda HRV with a 1.8 liter engine. So to start off, you're going to need 3.9 quarts of 0W20. You'll also need an oil filter, some brake clean, paper towel, 17mm socket or wrench, an oil filter, your oil filter pliers, and an oil pan and some ramps. So let's get right into it. The first thing you're going to do is remove the oil fill cap and set that aside. Next, going underneath the vehicle, you're going to notice there's this gigantic plastic skid plate, and there's 6 screws and then a few push pin screws at the back also holding it on. You're going to have to remove all of those, so I'm just doing that quickly. It is kind of painful. The dealership that was working on this didn't put the rear ones in correctly, so the rear just kind of fell out for me, but the side screws are metal, so they're pretty easy to do. And you can remove them with a Phillips head screwdriver. So once you get that skid plate removed, you're going to see the oil filter and the oil drain bolt. Now to remove the oil filter, I had to use my oil filter pliers. It was on pretty tight. So once I cracked that loose, I was able to unscrew it and let it drain for a bit. And then finally remove it and drain the remaining oil inside of it. Now going back up on top, I'm going to replace the filter first. Don't forget to lube the O-ring, and then you can just reinstall the oil filter, making sure not to over tighten it. So just spin it until it's snug, then give it 1/2 to 3/4 of a turn after that. Next, I'm going to remove the oil drain bolt and just had to hit that loose, and I'm going to remove it and let all the oil drain out. Now, since this was really hot, the customer drove here, the oil drained very quickly, so I only had to let it drain for about 5 minutes before it pretty much stopped. Then we're going to go ahead and reinstall the oil drain bolt. Now, don't forget to tighten it. I didn't and had to drop the skid plate and tighten it again, so just make sure you do it the first time. Then I put some brake clean here just to make sure that if there's any oil leaks, I'll be able to find them later. Then you can reinstall your skid plate with just the 6 side bolts, and if you were able to remove the rear ones, stick those back in. Now we can finally go back on top. We're going to add our 3.9 quarts of 0W20 oil into the engine. Now almost lastly, reinstall the oil fill cap and tighten it. And then we're going to go inside the cabin, and you're going to hold down the trip reset monitor or push it until you see the oil life. You're going to push and hold it. It takes about 10 seconds for it to start flashing. After it starts flashing, you're going to want to hold it for another 10 to 15 seconds, and that will reset your oil life to 100%. So there you have it. That's all you need to change the oil and reset the computer on a 2017 HRV. Thanks for watching.